everyone. So we're on season 3 of my podcast, The Real Talk with Claudia Mostaghasi. And this month I have a special treat for you guys. So we're going to be talking to different brokers, real estate brokers in town. So different companies, but I started with, so our first episode, I have Jason Flores and Lisa Flores, which is a husband and wife team. And we want to learn a little bit about how that works and how is it to actually work together and then live together and then wake up together. And so all of the above.
Oh,
so,
we're going to be here all day.
Yeah. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thank you for having us,
I'm so excited to have you guys. So let me tell you a little bit. So I started working with Lisa, I think back in like 2008, 2009. Yeah. It's been like a long, long time. We were like 15 years old. We started working out of high school. Yeah. You can't say anything. It's my podcast. So you can correct anything that I say. 15 years, that's when we started.
Okay.
She was a teacher. And I remember it used to annoy the heck out of me that I couldn't talk to her. She would send me a pre-qualification like, oh, can you talk to my client? I would be like, okay, cool. And I wanted to call her back and tell her, oh my God, we got it. And, he's
no answer?
No, dude. And then she will answer. And I hope the principal of her school is not listening, but she'll answer. And she'll like, I'm with the kids. Can I call you back? And I'll be like, dude, what?
You got in trouble a couple times for that.
I did.
For working on real estate.
For answering
my phone, yeah. And then, supposedly some teacher complained that I was talking about real estate during the day. I'm like, you talk about your bills all day. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. So how long were you a teacher for?
So I taught for 13 years. And then out of those 13 years, I did real estate part-time for 11 years.
Oh, my God. Yeah. 11 years.
11, yeah. So my plan was to do real estate for 3 years, build my business and then leave teaching, but that ended up being
a longer time. Yeah. Well, why do you think it was longer? Like, what was your fear?
Well, I think with everything, fear of failure, fear of not making it, fear of living strictly by commission. We were just talking about that yesterday because we went to Micah's orientation for middle school. And so we were talking to some of the teachers, and we left. I was like, man, I used to be a teacher. Like, everything I went through, she just brought up all these memories. And then we started talking about the pay. And it was like, I stayed around for that long because I was afraid to make that, to replace that much. And now look at where we're at. It's crazy.
So, funny story that you said that. I started being a loan officer in 2007, July. Mm-hmm. You know how much was my salary?
$15,000.
$38,000 a year with bonuses. And I remember thinking, how can I walk away from that? Yeah. Like, I can't really. And that's because I was already with the bank for like 7 years. Well, yeah,
my starting salary was 37. After 13 years, I was at 42.
And then, so the difference is when you're your own boss and you're like commission only or whatever, it's like sky is the limit. Mm-hmm. I mean, just whatever. I mean, it's commission is like whatever you're going to put in is what you're going to get out. Like, I mean, really. Yeah. So that's great. Now, your story is a little bit different because you were in oil and gas.
Yep.
And what made,
you
you don't gotta lie.
You do miss it.
He does.
Well, it was breaks that you would go by yourself
and schedule. Yeah.
There was some jobs I had good schedule. Like if I worked 4/10s and I had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off at home, I could ask for nothing better. But we were living a particular lifestyle where we like to travel. We like to have nice things, have a nice house. So in order to do that, I had to travel because a lot of times the traveling jobs paid a lot more money than the local jobs. So, that was a sacrifice that we both made. I talk about leaving and how hard it was for me towards the end once we had all of our kids. But a lot of times I always overlooked how hard it was for her because she stayed home with the kids and did everything by herself. Yeah. Right. And like sometimes we see videos, the one about Callie this morning, and it brought me to tears because I wasn't there. And Lisa was there doing it by herself. So it was a sacrifice on both of our parts. Me leaving to support them, and then of course Lisa,
And then
staying.
working 2 jobs.
Yeah, and then doing the real
I was
estate.
doing both.
Yeah, I remember you taking the kids with
will
you.
go with me
Yeah,
everywhere.
to go show houses and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was nice because every time she had to close, like, oh man, that's an extra
It's
$6,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think you were bringing home $2,500 a month
Yeah, like
for being a teacher.
Yeah.
And a big part of her not making the switch to full-time to a full-time agent was because we figured, oh, well, that $2,500 was guaranteed money. We can pay our mortgage guaranteed, right?
We pay our house.
And we would eliminate the stress of having to make money as far as commission goes.
It's just that the guarantee is what, like, I mean, like the security.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. But it's the same thing when you're on commission. I mean, I have to close these many deals per month because that's not negotiable. I mean, you have to have your non-negotiables and then you can just go from there. So what made you decide to switch careers to real estate?
Well, it's kind of funny how it happened, man. It was, if COVID never happened, I don't think I would never become a full-time agent. So what had happened was I had got a job offer right here in Exxon in Portland, the new plant over there. And I was working offshore at the time. So I was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And then they offered me this job here in Portland, and it was local and it paid decent money and the schedule was good. So I took that job, and then 3 months later, that's when COVID hit. So my boss calls me into the office. They were like, they didn't know what the hell was going on. No one knew was, basically.
What you're gonna do?
So he called me in the office. He was like, "Hey man, like they want me to lay you off, and not just you, but a lot of people because they were trying to cut costs, blah blah blah." He said, "Well, we'll call you back in a month though. You can come back." Well, that day that he called me in the office and told me that they were going to lay me off in 2 weeks, I had just got my license probably a month prior to that. I had just passed my test and I became an agent, and I joined Lisa with EXP. So I walked out of the office. I made a phone call to Lisa. I was like, "Hey, you're not gonna believe this, but they're laying me off. What do you want me to do? You want me to go back offshore? Like, I need a job." She was like, "Well, it's now or never." It's
the real reason he got his license is because when he was offshore, he was gone 2 weeks, home 2 weeks. So when he was home, he was like fishing and living it up. And I'm over here struggling. I was like, "Get your license. You can help me." That's how it kind of just all happened.
Okay, good do. And then the COVID. So you got in it when it was really busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been in it. And this is like very interesting because this is a lot of what's happening. And I'm telling you, it's happening across the board.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the S36 is like literally 60% of the realtors that had a license in 2021, they don't today.
Yeah. Yep.
So a lot of the realtors just fall off. Why? Because what happened is exactly what you did. I mean, you came in when literally you will leave the house and somebody's like, "I want to buy a house." Yeah. Like, I mean, you didn't really have to go and work.
Yes,
now,
it was good that first year.
On his lap.
Yeah, but like when we started it wasn't like that. I mean, because when we started, it was 7%, 8%. I mean, you're looking for it. I think that's a very interesting thing to just really analyze that part. Like, that's the reason why we're more comfortable. And I'm not saying that you're not, but I'm just saying because of what we have gone through on the real estate, like we're more comfortable saying it's okay. Like we'll refinance.
Because you've experienced the changes of the business.
Then all the people that came in, or whether you were a realtor or a lender, that you're like, "Oh, who's making a lot of money? I'm going to become a lender. I'm going to do loans." Yes. I mean, because it was the same story. I would actually, 2020, 2021, sometimes I would pick not to answer the phone because I'm like, I'm tired. I'm not going to do another loan. I can't help you. If it
so many people were calling.
Yeah. And if it was a client that you're like, "Oh, that sounds like that's going to be like, oh, no, I don't want to go with another person. Like, I don't want to do it."
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, the different time frames that you
I got my license, and then literally 30 days later I sold my first house. And they called me back a month later. He says, "Hey, you ready to come back?" And I think I had like 3 or 4 files in escrow, and I was like, "No, I'm not going back. I'm going to do real estate full time with my wife." He was like, "You're selling that many houses already?" My boss. I was like, "No, but I'm going to."
Yeah.
So I think I sold 33 houses my first year.
Mhm.
Wow.
When it was,
So I
COVID.
do want to report that Jason did not like to work with me the first year. He had other lenders.
Yes.
That then he came
I experimented.
back. No, he came back crying, saying, "Take me back, take me back."
Hey,
And
but at
said,
least I was
don't
mad
know.
enough to admit that I made a mistake.
Lisa and me were just
I'm like-
watching, and I was like, "Okay,
I
let
told
him
him, I
be."
said, "Do you? This is your job. You experience."
Hard headed. I was hard headed. I apologize publicly, Claudia. All those leads I sent, I was like, man, I could have sent them with Claudia.
Yeah.
So now, where do you start it? So we all have that first company that and it's not like, let's talk about bad the companies, right? Because I think we all have
learn,
I mean, you learn from every single brokerage or, company that you work for. I know I did. So how do you start it?
So when I got my license, I went to the Real Estate Institute, which was a school here locally.
Which is not longer.
Yeah.
It doesn't longer exist,
now.
right? Yeah.
And one of the girls that was in there with me, she worked at Century 21 Hallmark. So I just went with her, and I went there, and of course I was part-time. And there was a lot of older women too. I mean, Jean Cunningham she's still there, I remember talking to her a couple of times, but it was just a different vibe, and I was younger.
I remember you going to night school.
Yeah.
I was like, man, you're still there? Like, get home. We're living in an apartment at that time.
Yeah. And I started there. I was there a couple of months. And then I remember, and the main reason why I left is because I had to save a deal. And I cut my commission, and I got in trouble for cutting my commission. I wasn't allowed to cut my commission. And I was like, well, I'm willing to help. And, I mean, of course I was young. I didn't know. So I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm never greedy about money. I don't like to argue or fight about money. So if I can help in any way, I'm going to make it happen.
Right.
So I just didn't feel it was the right place for me. And after that, I actually went to Suit Off Properties.
Oh, back in the day.
Yes, back in the day.
That's probably when I met you with my tacos.
Yeah.
I would bring tacos in the morning there to their meetings.
Where's Jacob now? He's big.
Houston.
Yeah, he's
still doing
big time.
Yeah.
So I was there, and then I hopped around for a while, and then before EXP, I was at Ultima. I was there for about 6 years. So I was, I don't like to.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was there for a while.
Because I remember I went to you. That's when I think you were the one that introduced me to the guy in Houston or something that we went and met with the older guy.
Was it Paul?
I don't remember what was his name, but it was an older guy, and I went and I did a presentation in Houston with some of the Ultima real estate.
Yeah, probably.
Realtors.
So, and then I heard about EXP, and I was like, whoa. And I researched the company for a while, and against him, 'cause I was at 100% commission brokerage, but I was on my own, doing my own thing. I really wasn't getting anything from my broker.
She would stay up late at night. I'd wake up at 1 and 2 in the morning, and she's over there watching videos about EXP, right?
Yeah.
And man, we kick ourselves in the butt all the time because I never let her switch from Ultima because Ultima was 100% commission, right? And at the time when Lisa first approached me about EXP, the stocks were penny stocks.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, looking back, you're like, man, if we would have made the switch, we'd be
better.
Yeah, millionaires by now. But the timing wasn't right. Yeah.
You can't ever think about that. What ifs.
It happened the way it should be. The way it always does. It works out, and
I should just listen to you, right?
Yeah, I did it. I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. You can be mad. This is my business. This is what I'm doing. I'm in it.
You're not even a realtor.
Yeah. I was like, you don't even know. You don't even know. You don't understand. So I just did it. And I was just, I truly believe you only get out what you put in. And when I made the switch, I dived right in. Went to conferences all over Texas, and I soaked it all in.
I met you I was working in West Texas.
Him, I was like, you have to come. Like, I want him as my husband, as my partner, to see what I see, to believe it like me. Like, it was just amazing.
So on, because we don't have a 8-hour podcast show, but on a nutshell, what is EXP? Because I know that you guys get a lot of how do you say that? My girls always make fun of me because I want to say some of the sayings in English and I don't know how to say it, and they're like, "Mom, what?" And I'm like you get a lot of is it leech back or how do you say when they
backlash?
Backlash.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
I got you, Claudia.
So,
well, I guess a lot of that comes from just ignorance, because people, and I was the same way. When she would approach me with EXP and the business, I was like, man, I don't want to hear that BS. Like, no, you're not switching. But it was because I didn't know. I wasn't knowledgeable about the business model.
And it's not, I mean, and it's not for everyone.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's just like the same as lenders. There's so many companies out there, and it's not like
you got to get in where you fit in.
And I tell everybody, the thing that I love about EXP is they're very technology driven. They're very entrepreneurial driven. Like, when I came over to EXP, it made me look at my business in a totally different way. Like, I was literally transaction to transaction. I was working 8 to 4, showing houses, and I was just doing another deal. And they opened up my mind to, like, this is your business. Like, you're building your own economy. Like, you are creating this environment. You control this. You're working for yourself. And if you treat yourself like a business, you'll get paid like a business, And it was more about just putting my family first. Like, as an entrepreneur, you work so hard, and we tend to give our family the last of us because we're always working.
Unfortunately, we don't have we don't have a balance on it.
And this model allows us to have that freedom a little bit. Depending on what you do, there's several income opportunities, and
it fits our business spirit. I guess you could say, like, it's very entrepreneur driven, and it fits the type of business that we like to do. So there's no other place we'd rather be.
Yeah. So I heard a lot about it's a pyramid, and is this, and like I said, I mean, I talk to a lot of realtors, and I'm very neutral about, I respect everybody's, not taking I like this one better than that one, because I really am not familiar with it. Yeah. I mean, but really, what's the structure? I know that you guys have a team.
So we're considered a husband and wife team. So the other part of it was I wanted to grow, and I thought about getting my broker's license. Well, then going into that, I was like, gosh, the liability and having to train people and provide services and get a lead generation, it's a lot, on one person. And I was like, do I really want to take that on, especially having new agents, because you're responsible for them. They go out there, they say things, they write things on their contracts, and you're responsible. So with EXP, you're allowed to grow as a broker without having your broker license. So we're able to sponsor agents and help them. So we call agent success obsessed. We grow the company and we get paid for growing the company. So we don't have people that are out there calling agents to recruit, or we don't
necessarily do that. We're not trying to recruit people. We're not calling people and say, hey, let's meet up and talk about EXP. We're more, I would like to use the term, attracting agents to our organization. And if it fits
to your model.
Yeah. And as far as it being a pyramid scheme, well, it's a pyramid, but it's not a scheme. I mean, we're on the NASDAQ. We have stock. We're a publicly traded company. And the amazing thing about EXP is that we own EXP.
Yeah, we're shareholders.
Yeah, we're shareholders.
So you're able to earn commission plus stock in the company.
Yeah. So the way it works, it's a multi-level model. And a lot of people say, well, you never get to the top. Well, the people got to the top because they built it. right? And that's what we're currently doing. We're trying to build our business.
And
here.
I think that that's very important because I do remember going to some of your presentations, and here is where it gets a little. I think here's where people start getting like, "Oh, that's not true." Why? Because we can't forget that you guys are realtors. So your income is really, let's sell house, let's buy houses. Like if you're going in and you're listening to the person that literally came up with the idea of EXP, and now they have 3,000 or 4,000 realtors underneath them, and they stop. I mean, they're like, okay, I don't need to sell houses anymore. Well, that's a different situation that if you go in thinking that's going to be you one day. I mean, it's like...
And everyone is different. So I was one of the first agents here locally in EXP. So we want to be known as the go-to EXP agents. We have a great organization here. We have over 30 agents. We have weekly training. You know, I really feel
I really applaud you for that because I know that you started that and you have been very
we've gotten 30 agents within the last 3 years.
Yes.
And so we're averaging 10 agents a year, and our next goal is to get 50 agents.
Yeah, by the end of this year. So it's and I like that everyone that is with us is kind of like Jason said, it organically happened. Like they've contacted us and we've done a deal and we just hit it off. And it's just surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded and have the same goals and you know, want to have that thing in common and run together. You know, it's attainable for anybody if you work hard.
Exactly.
You know? So
anybody can do what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, some of our husband and wife teams that we've attracted are beginning to grow their organization too. Some of them have 5 or 6 agents already. So the notion is for someone to say, "Oh, you can't do that." Well, we are doing that, and some of our agents are starting to do that too. So,
and you can see it.
Yes, the growth is happening right before our eyes. And it's really cool
now, how do you balance working together and living together?
It's hard. It's hard because we're different.
It's very
with Jason. I'm just kidding.
No. I'll be the first to admit we do business totally different. She's a lot more organized, and I'm kind of like shooting at the hip, you know. And sometimes it gets me in trouble, but sometimes I hit a home run. You know,
Jason is like the kind that will like text me literally at 9 p.m. I have a question. Every time I read that, I go like this. And then I said, okay, yes, sir. What's your question, Jason?
Because sometimes at 9 we're still working, right? We're going through some of our files while we're laying in bed. And we're like, oh, dang, we forgot to do this or send that or
text Claudia.
Yeah. So
but I'm 8 to 5.
No, we appreciate you always answering our questions.
And that's what it's about too. Like being in alignment with everyone that we work with in the real estate industry. You know,
if Claudia, if you never answered me back, I probably wouldn't do business with you.
No,
I mean, you know what I mean? You know,
that's why I'm being truthful to you. I roll my eyes, but I mean, I still answer. I mean, you still get the rolling eyes.
Because some of the people that I experimented with, you know, whenever, you know what I mean?
You were cheating on me right there.
No, man, that was the worst mistake of my life. Yeah. My business career as a realtor.
Yeah.
We tell everybody, like, same thing with me. When I first started, man, the lender that I was working with, it was just like a roller coaster. I never knew.
I remember her.
It was so stressful.
She would cry sometimes. I remember.
What am I doing? I was like, and then I met you, and I was like,
she was crying not out of frustration, but a lot of times it was because the clients, we're not closing, like, you know what I mean?
Bad.
Like she was so.
It's just, you know, when you actually start thinking about and this goes on both sides. I mean, when you actually understand that you are affecting not just one person, but a family life. I mean, that's like, oh my God.
I mean, some of these people have worked all their lives and dreamed to own a house. And we're a big part of that.
Yeah, and that's one of our niches, first-time home buyers. So I was just like, I'm done. I can't use this person anymore. I need to find
Thank God she met you, Claudia.
I know.
I'm very happy that I met her and that she quit being a teacher. I don't know how many times,
like we were talking about that. Like you were right all the time. Like
I always told her, like, I don't know how many pep talks I had with her of like, Lisa, you're a great realtor. You do great. You need to quit. Like, come on,
Yeah.
say it with me.
Let's say it together.
And it was just like not happening.
And a part of that too is I felt I had a purpose still there. You
Yeah.
know, like I helped impact kids' lives, and I felt like I was happy doing it.
What grade were you?
I was the last 6 years was or last 7 years was 5th grade science. You know, like I loved my job, I did, but it just pay wasn't worth it.
She's a geek.
I am a geek.
She's
Yeah,
a big time geek.
Uh,
She lacks
tell
common
me-
sense, but she's smart as hell.
Tell me about
Yeah.
your kids. Name 8 and 1 word to describe them.
Oh,
And be careful because they're watching.
I know.
they're going to be
watch,
watching. Yeah.
Okay, so Jaden is 18.
1 word.
One word. What's the word? Analytical?
No. He's
He's
man,
good.
that's a good question.
Yeah, because he is so
1 word. No,
Mm.
you can't say more than 1 word.
sunny oney. Let me see. He's gonna be
What's
mad.
that word I'm looking for?
I
I
know.
don't want to
Okay,
mispronounce
Sunny,
it.
they do love you, Sunny.
Yeah, we no, I'm trying to think
What
of
is that?
the
What's that word? And
Where he-
Google.
where he-
Assertive.
No, he's very
Acquisitive.
he is inquisitive, but it has
Yeah.
to be about something he likes.
Yeah.
Like it has to be something that he if it doesn't
Our son's very humble. I will say that.
Yeah,
Like he's
he is.
he's very humble.
he doesn't ask for anything.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
yeah.
yep. He's very easy to please.
Yeah.
He's very humble. He's he's soft spoken. I don't think I've ever heard him like get angry and cuss and stuff.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Maybe whenever his doors closed, I could hear him BSing with his friends on the on the
Yeah,
phone.
but I mean, that's
But like as
not
far as
it.
showing like
Yeah.
emotion, like I've never
Yeah.
seen it.
That is just freaking crazy. Like how kids talk to each other.
Oh,
I'm like,
Yes.
yes, I know.
Yes.
like, oh my
Yes.
God. Okay.
Okay.
Lola.
Then Lola, she's 16. One word.
Kind-hearted. Is that one word or 2 words? That's one word.
Okay, Lola, I was going to say sassy. I was going to say.
Yeah, my Lola's selfish.
You are selfish, Lola.
Yeah. No, we did
She's
a
a-
TikTok the other day. She was like, you have to describe them. I was like, selfish. And then she asked me again, selfish. Like every word was selfish. Lola's in her little diva stage right now.
Of course. But that's
She's-
like all the 16 years.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a princess.
Yes.
So,
She
and
believes
then
it.
Micah.
Boogie. My boogie.
She's very unique.
Yeah, Micah.
She is
Entrepreneur.
yes.
Yes.
Like, oh my
She's
God.
driven.
She blows my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kid is going to be in sales
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
she could run her own business easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she told us yesterday she's going to be a lawyer.
Oh, she wants to be a lawyer.
She's dad like to argue. I
Yeah,
said,
she said I like to argue, so I'm going to be a lawyer. I was like, okay. Go for it.
And then Miss
Callie.
Callie.
oh man, she's
How old is she?
Callie is 5.
she's self-sufficient, man.
She's very independent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah.
She can do everything.
She has that little face. Do you remember that margarine girl? The one that looked like super like little, and then you put the bread and
Oh
then she, like-
yes.
Like, you
You should-
remember, like, she looks like her face is just so
Lisa's
like
mom
like
had
I
sent her
felt.
some old pictures of Lisa.
Uh-huh.
Man, spitting image. Because I always tell Lisa, man, she looks just like
I was
you.
like, oh,
She's like,
shit.
I don't see it. I said, she does. So Lisa's mom had sent her,
Sent the
oh,
picture.
your aunt.
But she
Yeah.
she looks like that. I mean, she has these super sweet, like I don't do anything
but
but
she
get
could be-
close to me. And
yes, She is that
So
way.
she's
Okay,
been sleeping with us.
Yeah.
And yet last night I was like, go to your room. Lisa's like, this letter, because you're going to miss that. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to, I mean,
She's our baby. I tell her all the time, you're my baby forever. Like, so we take
do
her. for
that,
sure.
yeah. And then they grow and you can't do baby.
yeah.
Well, guys, it was so awesome to
Yes,
have you
absolutely.
guys here. If you are a first-time home buyer looking for a realtor, I will call Lisa first and then Jason. No, I'm just kidding. You can call either or. They're both awesome. And you get the better of both worlds
Yes.
because you
Yeah.
have more accessibility. Like, I mean, you can, show houses
Mhm.
and, the listings
Yep.
and everything. But yeah, I appreciate you for coming over here.
It was fun.
Don't be too mad at your parents. I put them on the spot. Sunny, we love you.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.